Hi YouTube, it's me, Bryn Chan. So I'm holding my laptop. Um, so usually I do a Who the Heck Are You Fridays. And considering it's Friday, yes, I remembered it's Friday. Um, considering it's Friday, that's what I do. But considering that I didn't upload all last week and I missed Thursday and Wednesday, then I'm gonna kind of just upload a video, kind of just, it's kind of informative, kind of lets you in on my story a little bit more, and just kind of encompassing all of that, and basically what I've had to come to terms with, essentially for my personal growth. And I'm gonna set you down real fast. I'm just gonna. So this is an awkward angle, and I do apologize. I don't have anything set up. This is kind of just all, raw footage, and I'm just trying to. And all of my stuff isn't like, all of my stuff is, just recorded and added onto here. But considering there's still a little bit of preparation involved before the video. So like my walking, I usually have my phone, and I'm like, okay, where am I gonna hold my phone? Do I hold it here, here, here? And we're still working at the kinks because it still looks like I have a limp, and I don't have a limp. I walk perfectly fine. I swing my arms a lot when I walk, and I've noticed it does not help anything. Um, um, but this, you kind of have a weird angle of my room. You've seen kind of how messy it is right now. Yes, my life has been hectic. Hectic. Why? Because I've kind of just allowed myself to just get pulled into the void, I guess, a little bit. I've had something in my eye for like a while now. But my doctor's appointment isn't until next week. It's not bothering me too much, but it bothers me enough to know that it's there, and it takes a while to try to get to sleep. And trust me, because I've been exhausted as of late. Now, I kind of want to just hop on here because I have been slacking on videos as of late because I went to Indy and I had all this stuff planned, but I didn't realize because I'm one of those people who like to get a certain amount of sleep, and I want to make sure I'm going to be up and ready in the morning in order to take on the day, whatever it is that I have to do. So if something is scheduled at a certain time, I genuinely or generally try to schedule my sleeping schedule around that. If it's super early in the morning. So if it's super early in the morning, I usually try to go to bed earlier and then wake up earlier. That way I can do all of that. But I did not realize the just amount of stuff that we were going to do in Indiana. So I didn't get any videos done then, and before that, before we went to Indiana last weekend, I didn't upload any videos that week because I I was in preparation of getting everything done and everything ready for Indiana. That I just completely blanked on videos. And the thing was is I would think about, how I had to like get a video uploaded. Not that I feel like it's a job or anything. I genuinely like to do this. I genuinely like to make videos. Now, because it's become part of my routine, and I genuinely care about, you guys. I love being able to make videos and connecting with you. But it also feels like it's part of my routine now. Like, it has to be done at a certain time, and it has not been that way for a little bit, because even when I was uploading videos at the beginning of the week, it felt sporadic at times. And then when I go on a walk, my phone, usually if I have to merge the two videos together, like I walk to Quick Trip, I'm recording on the way to Quick Trip, and then I'm recording when I get out of Quick Trip. I have to splice those together, and then my phone has to take a second, more than a second, to do that and then save it so I can upload it to YouTube. And then when I do upload it to YouTube, it has to take a while to upload. So videos seem to be going up later and later and later, and I don't like that, because usually I record the videos around 4 o'clock. I have a meeting to go to here in a little bit. Actually, let me get that pulled up on my phone. If you hear the meeting in the background, I apologize. I would like to have this meeting going on. And what I'll probably do is I'll put on closed captioning. I have something here. I know I do. If it, for some reason, this doesn't always want to do this. So I'm going to look through here. If I can't find the meeting, then I won't put it up. But this is for Sunday. That's one I thought was today, but it wasn't. I'm looking at something. I'm trying to see when this meeting is scheduled, because it said, okay, this one's scheduled for 7 a.m. tomorrow, so that means I have to wake up, go to bed a little sooner tonight than I normally would, because one, not only do I have a team call, but I have a flight school to attend to. It looks like we don't have a meeting scheduled for today, which is strange, because we usually have one scheduled at this time. They are figuring stuff out. But yes. Okay. So, and then that Friday, I don't think I uploaded a video the Friday before last week, because my phone, we were having issues. So, and then there's no excuse for Wednesday or Thursday, because I was like, I need to put a video up, because, I always put a video up Monday through Friday, and I need to get back onto my routine, because I missed all of the week before getting ready for Indy. And even though I had planned to do videos, I wasn't going to make them really informative or anything like that. I was just going to probably sit down and sing a little bit, just a little more, just informative of myself, really, to get to know who I am a little more, and just do a couple fun videos before a weekend full of value that I was going to. I was sitting in a seminar for 2 days. It went on longer than I anticipated. I mean, it moved really fast, because Like you want to be there. You want to listen to this man speak. You want to, get all this information so you can bring it into your business. So it's not going to feel like it's a all day thing. It's going to feel very quick. And they made it fun. It wasn't like it was a huge, like, when you're sitting in class and the teacher just drones and drones and drones on, on and on and on. And, and then 1 hour feels like all day. Yeah, it wasn't like that. So, I'm very relieved. Because I'm not the type of person who will sit there for long periods of time listening to, like, information and stuff, but this is something I am passionate about. I am wanting to do. I do like this business, and I want to help as many people as possible, so I'm going to sit there. That topic interested me. Okay, unlike school where, you have to go and attend all these classes, and then they don't interest you, and then you just are bored out of your mind. Even if you're good at the subject, it doesn't mean you like it. Right? So, yeah, and out of that, my husband ended up becoming a business partner of mine. So my husband joined the business the other day. He joined the business the other day. I want to say Monday. He joined Monday. So Monday gang, because I joined on a Monday too. So he joined Monday. So he's been in the business for a little bit. He just had a call with my mentor Vasil, because now Vasil is also his mentor. And oh, okay. I forgot. I forgot it was Friday for a second. I was scared out of my wits for a minute. Because I have a call with somebody and my other mentor. I don't know why I somehow thought it was Saturday, even though I had literally just said several times already in this video that it's Friday. And I am making a video, which is typically on a weekday. I don't normally post on a weekend, so I might add some here and there every once in a while. It just depends on like what's going on, stuff like that. So, that being said, so yes, my husband has joined the business, and I'm really excited for him. I can't wait until, he is out of where he's working currently, and we can just be full-time business partners together. And we can retire his mom together, not separately, and we can retire, him, and then my parents, and get my grandparents the help that they need. And then I'm sure there's other things that he wants to do that I'm not fully aware of right now. So I'll have to like take a back seat to that, because I don't know what it is. I need to talk to him about it, see what he wants to do. Other than he wants to have a homestead, and I'm sure there's people in his life that he wants to help. So I'll let him do all of that fun stuff. And I don't mean that in like a sarcastic way, because I do enjoy it. Helping people is fun to me. People can sit there and say all the time that, helping people, you may enjoy it, but it's not like a fun thing for you. I really find it enjoyable to do. It's fun to do. I like doing it. I'm not wearing lipstick right now, which I normally would. I know that's really off topic of what I was saying. But we're gonna go to the gym today, so I haven't really had time to do that and all that fun stuff. So, well, it's not that I haven't had time, I just haven't thought about doing it because we're going to the gym. but no, so we got my husband, he's enrolled, he's now a business partner with me, and then we have the same mentor, so that's really great because now we're on the same team. um we got back from Indiana, and I'm super excited about that because uh this, like I said, it's full of valuable information. It's very jam packed. I learned a lot, and I learned a lot about my marriage and what I need to do in my marriage. And this seminar, it wasn't about this whole event wasn't even about relationships. It was about learning people and what it is that we're looking for in order to help them. Like, even if they don't realize it themselves, something in their conversation, in your conversation, what they say will reveal exactly what it is that they need help with, even if like they don't realize it. So it was really about like listening and trying to figure out what it was. And so, like I said, I learned a lot about my husband because he, you know, uh, has been struggling. He wants a strong male role model. He's been, with his mom. His mom has been a single mother almost all of his life. So it's really helped him to see all these male role models to get him really on the track of being this business owner and doing what it is that he needs to do in order to be successful, because I didn't know what it was. I'm a very, I guess you could say, domineering partner. I'm very dominant in this relationship. And now and that's something that I have to work with. Being a dominant partner isn't like a bad thing, but you have to learn to, to allow the other person to be dominant as well. And dominant partners, we're not really good at that. But you know and and it's always like frustrated me because I am the dominant person, and then I always was like frustrated because I was like, why can't he just talk to me? Why can't he take control sometimes? And then, we realize that, you know, if he does try to do that, it's not my way, and I feel like, you know, like I'm not being heard or and stuff like that, because and it goes back to like my childhood, because I wasn't allowed to do all of this, and it was my mom's way or the highway pretty much. And so I learned that behavior really from her, because I wasn't allowed to speak my mind or do that. I wasn't allowed to be a very dominant person. So then just bringing that out into this relationship, I became that because I didn't want to be I didn't want to be stepped on or anything in my relationship. Now, when we go out in public and we're talking to people, people talk over me all the time, and I've had to like learn how to like use my voice and be heard, be seen, and stuff like that. That's why I I attended this event, and it's helped me not only to learn more about my relationship, but it's also helped me to learn that I am somebody, and I am allowed to be seen and heard. Um, because usually when we're out in public and we're with a group of people, it's usually not me taking control of stuff. It's somebody else. And, that's how I get roped into doing something that I don't want to do. But my husband, he's also in it just for the ride sometimes. Even though when we're out and we're with a group of people, he's usually the one who's making the decisions to do stuff. But he also sometimes just goes for the ride, because there's always someone who wants to do something else. And we're just like, I guess we'll just do that because you know, no one wants to listen to what we have to say. And so we've really had to learn how to do that, and I have really had to learn to like let him take the reins at times because even though I want that, it's like I don't want it at the same time, and then I get frustrated, and it's not his fault that I'm getting frustrated. So, yes. Um and I've had to learn how to, as much as I thought I loved myself, I've had to learn that there's more to it. So I've only had 4 relationships. My husband is my last one. He's my 4th one, and we're gonna keep it at 4. I don't plan on a 5th one. 4 seems like a good number. But with that being said, I started dating in 2015, and I'd be in a relationship maybe a couple months, and then 2 weeks later, after we broke up, we'd break up, and then 2 weeks later, I'd be in another relationship, and that relationship would be for a little bit. It wasn't nearly as long as the first one, but then we'd break up, and then 2 weeks later, I was in my 3rd relationship, and that lasted 4 years with an abusive alcoholic. And I've learned that I pretty much attracted it, really, because I wasn't loving myself. I wasn't giving myself the time to really sit down and think about what it was that I needed as a person, as a woman, to really bring the right man into my life. Like I said, 2 weeks later, I'd be in a new one. And it would attract these different guys, and they weren't good. Like the first guy, I didn't even physically like touch at all, ever. I didn't hug him, I didn't kiss him, I didn't hold his hand, nothing. You know. The second one, it's a very sexual relationship. But sex can only get you so far. And the fourth one, you see how it like progressed. the the third one, not the fourth one. The third one, it started out okay. It was very physical at first, and then it progressed to mental and emotional abuse, and us occasionally physical abuse, and all of that. And the meeting we had a couple nights ago, it was a lady leadership meeting, and that's one of the groups that we have for all women. It made me understand and realize that yes, I did attract that into my life, even though like I didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve any of it. I attracted it into my life because I didn't love myself enough. I was pouring everything I had into a man, boy, child, pretty much, to try to get him to love me the way I wanted him to. But he couldn't because I wasn't showing myself that same love. So, oh goodness, I forgot what I was saying. I was very passionate about it too, but so that's what I attracted into my life, and I've really had to like learn that. But then when we broke up, I was like, okay, what do normal women do, right? What do normal women do? Okay, they don't hop into another relationship 2 weeks later. Normal women give themselves time after a breakup to figure out who they are and really just figure out what it is that they want and they need and everything else. And I'm not gonna say that those few months were easy by any means. I did learn a lot about myself. My ex was still trying to weasel his way back in. The 4-year long one. And I just wasn't about to let that happen. And he, because he was tried to sexually assault me on several occasions, even when we were together. And then after we broke up, and then after Scott and I started to date, he tried to. And I would tell him, like, hey, I'm in a relationship with somebody else. And he's like, I don't care. He doesn't have to know. And all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, I care. And I would know. And I would let him know. So, no. But he'd still try to force himself upon me. But, I moved out of that area. I really did some soul searching. I learned more about myself, and that's how I attracted Scott back into my life. See, we were friends back in 2016, and we had remained friends for 4 years on Facebook, and really just, we didn't really talk back and forth to each other, but we'd occasionally look at each other's Facebook profiles and check out our pages and stuff. And I really do believe that by giving myself that time to really, like, think about myself, because Scott didn't message me until a few months after. I believe that was really a sign that, I had made the right decision. And and really just giving myself time to think and heal and learn myself more. So self-love is a big thing, especially, just in relationships. But if you think about it, it's also in business. In business, you have to treat yourself a certain way, because if you don't treat yourself with the respect and confidence and all of that, no one else is going to respect you, and you're going to attract those kind of people who just do not respect you. If you're going to be a business owner, you have to act like a business owner. I've really had to learn that. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight. I'm not saying that, I'm, not scared sometimes to talk to people. But I am saying that I've had to really, 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 like, learn that. And now I have to implement it into my life. And really just get that started. So it's been a learning curve. And to really just go back on to learning all this, and then the weekend I learned more about Scott that I didn't realize I didn't know. And the thing is I don't think I've given him the time to sit there and communicate with me. I don't think I've given him that space. I have told him I need him to communicate with me. And it frustrates me because he sits there and plays video games, so it's not just my fault entirely. It's on him as well, because I've given him every opportunity to sit there and communicate with me and to let me know what he needs. But, and I've told him as much. I've like, you need to tell me what you need or I cannot provide it. And he just sits there and he plays video games. He tends to be more open with like strangers about what it is that he needs than apparently his own wife. So like, am I doing something wrong? Somebody tell me, because I don't know what it is. All I do is like I tell him, hey, I need you to communicate with me, and then he just doesn't do that. Though he has said before that we're in a relationship, it's kind of embarrassing to talk to me, which I don't understand why. But I must be doing something in order for him to not feel comfortable enough to do that. I mean, there's still things that I have to get over because, and mine's more of like personal stuff. It's not really the communicating part. Mine's like my monthly. I don't want him like looking at me or like coming near me when I'm like changing and stuff. I'm like, no, not right now. I'm in the middle. I need to freshen up a little bit. Can you please go away for a second so I can do that? And it's a couple things. If you're not in a relationship and you don't understand it, don't worry. If you think it's gross, don't worry. Even if you are in a relationship, each couple is different. Men are just naturally disgusting, apparently, because he'll try to like open the bathroom door and talk to me while I'm going to the bathroom, and I'm like, hey dude, please, I'll talk to you all you want when I go number 1, but if I go number 2, I need you to get out. Please, because I can't do that. But yeah, that's my thing. That's what I need to work on, because, you know, like I said, he's naturally disgusting. But for him, it's really, see, I get embarrassed with that. For him, he gets embarrassed with telling me certain details about his life, and it just frustrates me. So I really have just come to really realize that there's a lot of things that we should be working on together, especially because we're a couple, and the thing is we did permit our counseling before we got married, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've stayed, you know, strong in a lot of areas in our life, is because we've worked through that already before, you know, we got married. And it's good because they're like, you need to work out this, because even though you haven't hit this problem yet, there is a strong possibility that you will, and you'll need to know how to deal with it. And so it's really worked. And just like the event this weekend about the business, like, you need to know how to do all of this. There's a difference between responding and reacting. If you hear something and you immediately do something, that's a reaction. Now, a response is you sit there and you think about it. After, like, you hear it, you sit and you think about it and how to respond to the situation. How are you going to answer the situation? You think about it first. Reaction, there's no thought. Response, there is a thought. Wow. Reaction, there's no thought. Response, there is a thought. So really, I mean, you have to bring that not only into, like, relationship-wise, but also in your business, because someone's going to piss you off in your business. Someone's going to do that. And it is your responsibility of how you react and how you respond. You can't just react to every little situation. You have to have a response. You have to think about it. Because if you just let your emotions do all the talking, you're not going to get anywhere. So, Uh, but yeah, I've really had to learn all of that this week, and the hard part is going to be implementing it. Um, but it's something that I need to do. I need to implement it. Um, so there is that. Um, Other than that, if you want to really know more about me, I guess I can talk uh, more about who I am. Um, in my story. Um, to let people know that, hey, it doesn't really matter where you start at it in life. You can still make it. You can still become that uh, multi-millionaire, billionaire. You know, you can still start this financial journey and make progress and get to where you want to be. So for me, um, I was born to drug addicted parents. I recently found out a few months ago that I was a crack baby. Now, I was in the hospital for a few days. Now, I don't identify as that. I do not feel any connection towards that. Matter of fact, I didn't even know about it until a few months ago. That's so if it didn't bother me before because I didn't know, why would it bother me now that I do know? That is in a past life. That's not me now. That's not who I am now. Um, just like I am not the same person I was yesterday. Um, we were in and out of homelessness, so we'd sleep in the car, or we'd sometimes maybe have an apartment, um, or we'd stay at my grandmother's house if she was willing to let us stay. Um, all of that fun stuff, really. Um, and my biological father was in and out of jail a lot, just growing up. So that's really and the thing is I have a lot of memories of that time, and I know he was in jail a lot. But I only have like one memory where we actually went to go visit him in jail. Um, and I they could probably argue that all they want, that never happened, but no, you can't really argue a child's memory sometimes, because sometimes if it's traumatic enough, you'll remember it. And yeah. So by the time I was 6 years old, um, we were hiding in the neighbor, the connected part of our duplex. Uh, the neighbors had moved out, so we were hiding in there, and the police, they found us. Um, because there was a door in my parents' bedroom that connected to the neighboring duplex. Yes, it's really weird. I don't know. I don't remember where this was. But it's where it's in the town that I live in now. It's in the city I live in now, and I guess it's relatively close to where I live now. It's another reason I don't want to live here anymore. It's because it's just, you know, it's good to have a reminder of like the past, as long as you don't like bring it into you. Don't let it affect you. But like when I'm cleaning myself, to get to a better me, I want to get rid of everything, right? I want to purge everything from me, because that's part of the old me. It's not part of the new me. The new me doesn't belong where the old me is, right? So I was adopted at the age of 6. So the police found us. We were going through the court systems. We were also in and out of foster care a lot growing up. But the time I'm telling you about right now, this is the last time we were taken away. Um, And me and my two younger brothers were, thankfully we were adopted into the same family. But, and so they weren't like at the bottom of the barrel. Like they weren't super poor like my biological parents were. But they were part of like a lower middle class family. So you imagine a lot of budgeting, a lot of, no, we can't get that. We don't have it in the budget, or we can't afford it right now. Stuff like that. It just really irked me growing up to like do better for myself and everyone, because I was like, even before we were adopted, I was like, I want something better than this. And then when we were adopted, I was like, I still want better than this. I don't want to have to budget and struggle and do all of that. I've always really wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I think that's why I've had such a hard time with jobs. And even when jobs are going great, I've quit because, it's not that I hated the job. I hated the work, but I didn't hate the people I was doing it with. It was a fun environment, but I couldn't keep myself there because I just grew bored of it. Really, pretty much, I grew bored of it, and I didn't like just having a paycheck. I wanted, I want more than a paycheck. I want no cap to my income. So, just really growing up, we had there was a budget. We couldn't leave the living room light on or anything. We couldn't leave lights on in general. Don't leave the water running. If you're not in a room, don't have the light on. That sort of thing. Bedroom lights are off during the day. The only time you really have them on is at night when you need to see. But even then, you don't really need them on because, you're going to go to bed soon. So, that fun stuff. So really, when I graduated high school, and I wasn't living with them anymore, I kind of reverted back to before I had been adopted. Not in the drug aspect, but it was really just falling in with the wrong crowd. Not making the right connections, and I was homeless again for a little bit. Just really falling in with the wrong people and finding myself in that same kind of crowd of people that my biological parents were with. And if I had stayed on that course, I'd probably be exactly where they are right now. But yeah. Sorry. So really, just finding a way out of that was a godsend. And I've left some details out, like before, like all like in middle school, we had something happen, which has made me cautious around certain men and certain types of men, and even men who look like that other man. Even if they aren't like him at all, it's made me really cautious around them. And it's not their fault. It's really not. That's another thing that I have to work on for myself. And after, so back on topic, after I became homeless for a time, that's when I was with my first two boyfriends. One I had been with when I was living with a friend after high school, before I became homeless, and then a little after I became homeless. And then the other one I started dating while I was homeless. So, yeah, and then that relationship ended. Um, but my my homelessness ended when I found a number in my phone, and I had never contacted this woman before, and I really just I explained the situation. She's like, "Okay, I'll come get you," and I had gone to the hospital at this point because I was like, I don't even know if like I'm allowed to stay here for a little bit, and they thought I was high. They thought I was high or on drugs or something, and somebody in the lobby thought I was on drugs or something as well. But she was like, I've been where you're at. I know exactly what you're going through. And again, she thought I was on drugs, but she allowed me to use her phone. Thank goodness, and I was able to call that woman's number that I found on my phone. Like I said, I had never talked to her, and she brought me in. But the hospital had called the police, and I was sitting with the police for a little bit because they were like, "We're gonna have to take you in, if you have nowhere to go." And all this other stuff, because I had to explain to them. I was like, I haven't slept in like a few days because I have nowhere to go. I can't find anywhere to stay. So yeah. So she showed up, and I moved in with her and her boyfriend and her son, and they were living in her boyfriend's mom's basement. She had like a fully done basement, a whole like apartment area in the basement. So that really helped out like a lot. There was 2 bedrooms, and unfortunately, I couldn't stay in one of the bedrooms because it was packed to the brim with just clothes and shoes and all this other stuff. Like they didn't keep it clean like at all. Imagine a hoarder house pretty much. But that's how I ended up with my 4-year long relationship ex, because he happened to be working at the same place as the woman I moved in with, and she had asked for me for sex as well because she was bisexual, and she and her boyfriend were in a polyamorous they were a polyamorous couple, and they were looking to bring somebody else into the relationship as well, and I was like, no, I am sorry, I'm not into that. You do you, but I am not going to take part. And that's really, I guess you could say that's when I started to like really get my shit together, kind of. Not as much as I should, but I was getting my stuff together. And that's how it started going a little uphill from there. And then I got with my abusive ex, and of course, it felt like it stagnated a little bit, and it felt at the time like it was going down, but now that I look at it, it really it went up. Uh, Not in like the best way of it to go up, but it went up because I went through that, and then I went and we I got out of that relationship, and I got my own place, and I did all this other stuff, and he had been, not only was he mentally and emotionally and physically abusive, but he was, like I said, he was an alcoholic, but he'd use my money to really just fund his alcohol addiction. And so that's one of the reasons why it took so long for me to leave, was because I just felt like I had no money ever. But then I did move out, and then of course 2 weeks later, after moving into my new apartment, it flooded, and I had to live with him for a little bit off and on. I tried to stay in my apartment that had flooded as much as I could, but it was taking a toll on my health, and so I'd have to stay with him. But then I, was actively looking for another place to stay because I was like, I can't live in this apartment anymore. I mean, they have done nothing to fix the problem. So I moved out, really, and in with my roommate that I'm sure I've told you guys about, and she's kind of like a sexual deviant as well. We were really, really good friends for a while. I'm not saying we're not good friends now. I'm just saying we were better friends at that point in time because we talked more, we did all this other stuff, but we're also on different journeys now. Um, and my conversations are different. Um, but she took me in and to her apartment, and we became roommates, and I shared the bills and everything. And she didn't know who I was. She had no idea who I was, but she brought me in, and my ex had been there one time, and he kept trying to come back, and I was like, nope, you're not coming back. We have a security door. You will not get past the security door. Um so yeah, and I was like, when we're not gonna let you in. um he needed to use my computer, but then he like took that as like an open invitation to try to like come all the time, and I was like, no, no, thank you. And during that time, my husband and we started dating. And then I came down to visit him. So like every other weekend, we would take turns going to visit each other. So like one weekend he'd come up, the next weekend I'd go down, all that stuff, just to visit each other. So the last weekend we visited each other, it was my turn, and I went down, and COVID hit, and everything was locked down. My roommate called me. She was like, hey, don't even bother coming back. They're locking everything down. Like, Kansas City will not let you back in. And I was like, okay. um and she's very germophobic as well. So that happened, and I ended up saying to my husband, I was like, hey, do you mind if I stay here an extra 2 weeks until like lockdowns are over so I can go back up? Because I really don't have a place to stay. He talked to his mom, they were okay with it, and I stayed. And then lockdowns just happened to be longer and longer and longer. And so I eventually ended up just staying here and moving in and moving my shit over. I was cussed a lot in this video. And just moving my stuff over. And then we got engaged, and now we're married. But I haven't left since COVID. So yeah, and now I'm before we got married, I was feeling real bad because I was like, I don't have a job. I'm not really taking care of anything. He's paying everything. He's helped me move. He's done so much for me. I need a job to, really just fund our wedding. And then we got married, and then after that, I quit at the diner because like I said, I have a bad history when it comes to work in general. um like having a job, I can't, I don't like having a boss, if that makes sense. I don't like having to have somebody tell me when I should do something, how I should do it, and really having a cap on my income. I don't like doing that. And I would like to travel and stuff. And you can't do that with a job. You can't. You really can't. And people mistake having multiple sources of income as having multiple jobs. And that's not going to get you any closer to the financial freedom that you think it will. Um so yeah, so I was sitting on the couch feeling like a bum, but I was literally just sitting there watching YouTube and stuff. And I decided one day, as I was feeling sorry for myself, to really just scroll through Facebook. I don't know why I was scrolling through Facebook, but I'm scrolling through Facebook and I was like, maybe somebody has something posted, and I can do that because my husband can't be the only one working. And I came across Cali Kanai, and really, if you go back to like when I revamped my channel, back to those earlier videos, yes, I was talking about affiliate marketing because I found Cali Kanai, and he was talking about affiliate marketing. I paid into that, but the thing was when I did it, I hadn't really done any work on my paradigm or my subconscious thinking and how I thought. Yes, I started listening to audiobooks around that time. I literally started listening to audiobooks after joining affiliate marketing. So that did nothing for my affiliate marketing though, because I hadn't done anything prior to that. So back in February when this group found me, I had been doing work on myself, on my mental state, all of this other stuff. My conversations were changing. That when they found me, when GPS found me, and they brought me in, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. They're like $1,500 for the pack that I joined. Then come to find out that's one of their higher packs, which I don't mind actually at all, because I do want to move fast. I do want to keep going, and I want to help as many people as possible. I really feel that I can be just a really big star player in this whole thing, and I'm an independent business owner. I am partnered with everyone, and stuff like that. So yeah. So I started into this, and it's been nothing but a blessing ever since. Like, I now have people who I can talk to who are doing the same thing as me. I don't feel like I'm the only one trying to do this, trying to like, and now I have other people to talk to who have the same conversations. I'm not going out there trying to have a conversation like this with just somebody like one of our friends, because our friends are going to be like, hey, shut up, I don't want to talk about this, let's talk about something else. And then all that they want to talk about is drama or whatever the heck is going on, in somebody else's life. And my conversations, of course, they've changed to really just making money, how I can really benefit my business, how I can do all this stuff, and they don't want to be a part of it. And I'm just like, okay, well, you're lost. But really, yeah, that's my story as well, and it's kind of long. And I admit I omitted a lot, a lot of details. But that's kind of the rough draft of my story. It's not like a rough. That's not like an essay. I'm trying to rewrite it and make it sound better. But no, I am trying to like narrow it down. That's like the Spark Notes kind of. But I'm trying to Spark Notes more, to relate with different people, because my story can relate to different people in different ways. But different parts of my story will relate better than like the whole thing. So now, with all that being said, I have talked for nearly an hour, and you guys don't typically have me going on for an hour. So with that being said, I will go ahead and I will end this video and end your suffering. But yeah, I'm just a normal person like anyone else. So are my multimillionaire mentors. They're ordinary people as well. They started out, where we've started, and they're somewhere where I want to be, so I'm going to learn from them. I'm not going to learn, like I said, from like the neighbor or someone, because if they knew how, they'd already be doing it and they wouldn't be my neighbor. So, but yes. So, but just so you, that's really, so you know, um, people who make multi-millions, billions even, they're just ordinary people. Okay? They're ordinary people who have learned how to work the system, so to speak. So, but I'm going to go ahead and let you go because I've gone on for an hour already. It's an hour and 28 seconds. And it's just going to keep going. But with that being said, I love you guys. Mwah. I'll see you in the next video, which will be Monday. Remember to invest in yourself. Mainly this whole video has been about investing in yourself. So invest in yourself because you are the very best person that you could ever invest in. You know, invest in stocks, real estate, gold, silver, all that fun stuff. And I will go ahead and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Bye.